Welcome to this video on how to complete your coursework. My name's Andy Wicks, and in this video I'm going to show you how to maximise your grades for minimum effort. The first thing to consider is how you're going to go about producing the material that's going to be assessed. The first step, of course, is to read the coursework carefully. Without reading the coursework and knowing what it is you're trying to do, it's going to be a little harder. And you wouldn't believe how often we get coursework back that is wonderful, really clever, intelligent stuff, but has nothing to do with the problem that was set. So they get fail grades. So make sure you read the coursework. The next step is to start immediately. You can create the front page. You can create the table of contents from the marking scheme. And then you know that whatever it is you produce over your time on the course, you know that you're going to have covered what you need to cover. If you do that right at the beginning of the course, not at the end when you're trying to set up the coursework and submit, but right at the beginning of the course, then you're going to be in a much better position later on. So you create the outline before you've even done a class, if necessary, and then you throw things in as you go. Whenever something comes up, you think, oh yeah, that belongs in, you put it in there. And it doesn't matter if it's in good English, it doesn't matter if it's grammatically correct, or even in a foreign language for that matter. What matters is that you have something in there. So when the time does come to finish up your coursework, you're going to be ready to roll. And that means that you're now in a far better position than those who are just starting. Okay, so now you've got all the stuff in there. What do? Well, you have to provide a logic to your coursework. Make sure that things are in a sensible order, that the things that you're referring to for later on don't come before, that you build up your argument step by step. You know, this is the case, then that's the case, and that's the case, and therefore what we've got is. And that's a much better way of going about it. Make sure that what you're doing is clear. It's got to be understandable on first reading. The fact that you know what you mean, or that your mum knows what you mean, is not relevant. Your work is going to be assessed by those teaching you, who've got a stack of marking to do. Your work is going to be verified probably by some external source. So these people have to be able to understand it on first reading. They don't have time to go through hundreds of pieces of work checking whether you might mean this or you might mean that. If you mean to say something, say it. And usually the best step is to have a paragraph with 2 or 3 sentences in. The first sentence says what you're trying to say. So, I think the sky is blue. And then the next sentence or two explains why you think the sky is blue. There's no cloud today, and the sunshine is shining, and so it looks blue. And then you move on to the next point. So your first sentence says what you want to say, and then a sentence or two backing up this assertion that you made. When you've got everything together, make sure that it's complete. Go through the coursework again to make sure you've covered all the points. There's no point in handing in something that is unfinished when you know that you could have done those other bits. What you do has to be understandable on first reading, so it should have a logic, it should be clear and complete. And if you can manage that, then you've passed.